Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new to this channel, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you are a subscriber, thanks for showing your support. I really appreciate it. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing a cute bridal look. You can do this look for prom or just an everyday look. First things first, I'm starting off with my brows, and I'm just outlining my brows, pretty much just tracing my natural brow shape and adding light hair strokes in the front. You want to be very light-handed when you're doing your brows because you want them to look more natural. And then I'm gonna start by outlining the top portion. As you can see, I started pretty much in the middle of my brows and worked my way back. I have a natural arch, which I like to round it out versus it being pointy. And then I'm just adding the tail to make it a little thicker and then filling everything in. And to clean up my brows, I'm going to be using two different shades. I'm starting off with this Tarte Shape Tape. This is the shade Deep. This is the lighter shade that I'm going to be using. And I'm just starting off using this because I like the way that it looks underneath my brows without making it too light, but giving it a more natural feel. And I'm just using my brush to kind of clean it up closer to my brows. I don't like to go straight in with the product because it leaves a lot of product right under your brows, and when it go to blend it out, it kind of makes the product bleed onto your brows, and you don't want to mess up your work. And now I'm just going to blend it down a little bit towards my lids, but I am going to go in with another concealer as well as a eyeshadow base. And now I'm just repeating the same step on the opposite side before going in with my other shade. And as you can see, this concealer goes great with my skin tone, but I just love it because it gives me a light enough look so I don't have to go in with a lighter color. And now for the second concealer, I'm using the NARS Soft Matte concealer. This is the shade Hazelnut, and this one also is not a bad concealer for my skin tone. And I'm just blending that out, and I did the same steps that I did on the back, and just added a little product on the brush and then blended it out. You don't have to use two concealers, you can just use one, but I think this gives it a more natural look. That's why I chose to do two. And now I'm just going to go ahead and blend everything out because I want everything to be nicely blended. I am going to add on my eyeshadow base off camera. And for my eyeshadow, I'm going to be using the Zoeva Cocoa Blend eyeshadow palette. This is my first time using this palette, and as you can see, these colors are so beautiful. I got this palette probably like 3 years ago from Sephora. And I'm just taking that shade Freshly Toasted, and I'm adding it a little bit above my natural crease. And I'm making the line as thick as I possibly can get it without being over thick because I want this to be more so of my transition color. And I'm just going to take a large shadow brush to blend out the edges so that they're not harsh. And right above that, I'm going to take Substitute for Love, and I'm going to blend it out even further. And I'm going to keep blending those two shades together until I get the nice blend that I'm looking for. Before moving on to any other shade, please make sure that you blend everything completely. Now I'm going to go in with Beans Are White, and I'm just going to add that to the outer corner to give me that smoky eye effect. And I'm just blending that into both of those shades. We're not going above those shades, just blending and fading it in. Stamping your shades in the place that you want them to go and then blending out the edges will give you a seamless look. Now I'm going back in with Freshly Toasted and Substitute for Love just to make sure that those two shades don't get lost in between Beans Are White. I want those colors to show through. I feel like Freshly Toasted kind of got lost when I added Beans Are White, so I'm just going back in with that same small brush and I'm just adding that right back in my little crease area and then going in and blending that out. Y'all just look at that blend. Now I'm just going to cut my crease, and a tip to cut your crease to make it a little bit easier is just add some concealer to your lash line as close as you possibly can and then look up, and that will create like a little shadow of concealer at the top, and that will give you a guide to where your concealer should go. I like to bring my concealer above my natural crease because whether my eyes are open or I have on my glasses that you'll be able to see my eyeshadow. You don't want to always have to close your eyes for someone to see your eyeshadow. You can also just add the eyeshadow color right under your natural crease to achieve the same look. And I will show you exactly what I mean by that in Tuesday's video. And I'm just using that same brush to really blend and dry down that concealer, so that I don't get any creasing before I get to add on my other eyeshadows. And now I'm just using my finger to blend out that outer corner. And just to make sure that my transition shades still show through, I'm just making sure that I go in with my brush and just fading that the edges of that concealer out just a little bit. Now I'm going to go in with Sweeter End, and I'm just going to place that in the center of my lid and just stamp that into place and then continue to blend it out. And I'm going to add more when I feel like it's needed. And I'm just using my finger to blend those two shades together. And now I'm going to go in with Delicate Acidity, and I decided to switch the placement between that one and Sweeter End because I thought the Delicate Acidity will look better being next to Beans Are White. And I'm glad I made this decision because it turned out much better. And now I'm just taking a clean brush and I'm just blending those two shades together. Now that that is all blended together, I'm going to move on to my primer. And the primer I'm using is the Milk Hydra Grip Primer. And I love this primer, I always say it, because it really helps the makeup stay in place. And I'm going in with my Sephora Best Skin Ever. And I started off just by adding a little bit of foundation on the back of my hand to warm it up some, and then just adding a little bit of dots onto my face. And you only need a little. This is a medium to full coverage foundation, and it also is buildable, so if you need to add more, you can add more. And I'm just going to take my concealer brush and use my foundation to carve out the top portion of my brows. You can use concealer or you can use your foundation. Sometimes foundation works better because you don't have that harsh line underneath where you put the concealer at. And just blend it out and it'll blend in with the rest of your foundation. And the little bit that is left over on the brush, I'm going to add on to my nose, as well as whatever was left over on my hand, which is pretty much was nothing. And I'm just going to blend everything out before moving on to any concealer. I'm going to go in with the NARS Soft Matte Concealer. This is the shade Hazelnut. And I was just going to go in with this alone, but then I figured once I blend it out, it's going to blend in too much with the foundation. So I'm going to end up going in with the Tarte Shape Tape as well to go over this. Your concealer shade should be 1 or 2 shades lighter than your foundation. And now I'm just using the Shape Tape concealer from Tarte, and this is the shade Deep, and I'm just going underneath my eyes, the bridge of my nose, my lip, my chin, my forehead, and then I'm going to blend under my eyes out a little bit more. I'm going to let this concealer sit for probably like 1 or 2 minutes, and I'm going to go in the meantime and add some bronzer. This is the Fenty Beauty Mocha Mami bronzer, and I'm going to just use this to add some color back into my face. I'm going to go ahead and blend the concealer on my chin as well as my forehead because I don't want those 2 areas to sit for too long. And I'm also going to blend out the edges underneath my eyes because I want that to be seamless with the contour, because I don't want any harsh lines, as well as under my lip because I don't want that to be sitting for too long either. The longer you let concealer sit, the more dry you get, and sometimes the harder it'll be for you to blend out. But the longer you let it sit, at least for 1 to 2 minutes, the more full coverage it will be. And now I'm just blending out that bronzer using the same brush. And as you can see, since I blended out the edges of that concealer, those 2 blend in perfect right next to each other. And now I'm just taking a dry beauty blender and I'm blending out that concealer on my nose, as well as I'm going to do the same under my eyes. Sometimes I don't like to use a damped beauty blender because sometimes I feel like it soaks up way too much of the product. And now I'm just taking that beauty blender and blending out the edges around my nose so that I don't have any harsh lines before blending underneath my eyes. And it's okay to do what works for you. Not everyone's technique is going to work for you. Just keep that in mind. The idea is just to get a flawless finish. Now I'm just taking my triangle puff, nothing is on there, and I'm just blending out the concealer even more. And I'm just going in with my pressed powder to set that into place before going in with my loose powder. And I'm adding the concealer on down the side of my nose and blending out underneath my eyes because it will give me that reverse contour look on my nose so that I don't have to use as much bronzer. Everywhere that you added concealer, you need to add some type of powder around there so that the makeup will stay in place. Even though I did not add concealer all around my lips, I still like to place some powder there so that the makeup don't move in those areas. And now I'm just adding some powder underneath my contour or bronzer. And this will also do the reverse contour look. And I don't add a lot. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It just depends on what look I'm going for. And for this particular look, I didn't. And I let that powder sit while I did my lashes off camera. And I'm just dusting it away using that same foundation brush. I'm using the same brush so that I don't dirty up too many of my brushes. And I wanted a little more bronzer, so I just went in and added a little more bronzer. I didn't add any blush to this look. After I finished blending out this bronzer, I did go in with some highlighter. I used the Fenty Beauty Hustla Baby. And now let's move on to my best friend. This is the MAC Nightmoth lip liner. This is my favorite lip liner ever. And I like to go in and add my lip liner a little bit bold, and then pucker my lips together and add some to the top of my lip. And as you can see on my right side, the top of my lip where the cupid's bow is a little bit pointy, but I am going to fix that later. All of my lips, I love to do a cute ombre look. And I'm just taking my finger to blend out the inner parts of my lip to make sure that it's nicely blended. Again, I like an ombre look. And now I'm going back in with that Zoeva palette, and I'm using the shade Sweeter In and just placing it directly in the center. And I'm going to set my makeup with the NYX Matte Finishing Spray. Hope you all like this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also share with a friend. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.